is a place in Japan. A place that does not appear in tourist guides. A place that the Japanese whisper about, but do not name. It is a forest, but it is not an ordinary forest. It is a place where death is so frequent that it has become part of the landscape, so common that the birds have learned to avoid it. I have visited many dark places, many places where suffering has left its marks. But this place is different, because in this place suffering does not leave marks. It leaves voids. Voids where people used to be. Voids where families used to exist. Voids where life used to happen. And these voids call. They whisper to those who are desperate, to those who have lost hope, to those who believe there is no more reason to continue. I am the observer, and today I will tell you of a place that should not exist, but does. A place that should not be visited, but is. A place called Aokigahara, the forest of suicide. Aokigahara. The name means forest of red trees. But long ago, the Japanese knew it by another name, the forest of suicide. Located at the foot of Mount Fuji in Japan, Aokigahara is one of the densest forests in the country. 35 square kilometers of trees, shrubs, and a darkness that does not belong to this world. For centuries, Aokigahara was just a forest. But in 1960, something changed. A book was published. A novel called Nami no Oto, The Sound of Waves. In it, the main character commits suicide in Aokigahara. And so it began. Slowly, the forest transformed into a destination. Not for tourists, not for adventurers, but for those who had decided that life was no longer worth living. I do not judge this decision, nor do I comfort those who made it. I only record what I saw. And what I saw in Aokigahara was incomprehensible. You must understand Japanese culture to understand Aokigahara. In Japan, there is a concept called seppuku, ritual suicide, a form of honorable death, a way to escape shame. This concept permeates Japanese culture even today. When a man or woman feels they have failed, in career, in family, in life, the shame is so deep that death seems to be the only way out. And Aokigahara became the place where this shame is transformed into silence. Because in Aokigahara, no one hears your screams. The forest is so dense, so isolated, that you can disappear completely. Your body can lie there for months, or years, or forever. Aokigahara is not just a place where people die. It is a place where people disappear. And there is a very big difference between dying and disappearing. The numbers. There are always numbers. Between 1960 and 2010, more than 500 bodies were found in Aokigahara. But that number is only what was found. Those that were not found, those numbers do not exist in any statistic. They simply disappeared.
At the peak of suicides in Aokigahara, between 2000 and 2010, police found an average of 30 bodies per year. 30 people who decided that life was no longer worth living. 30 people per year, every year. Some years there were more. 2003 was the worst year. That year, 105 people were found dead in Aokigahara. 105. Imagine that. One person every 3 days. Every day, every month, the entire year. The police created a special unit. Regular patrols, cameras, warning signs. But still, people came. Because Aokigahara is not just a place, it is a call, a voice that whispers, "Come, here you can disappear, here you can finally rest." And people hear that voice. I hear that voice. Let me tell you about a man. I will not say his name, because in Aokigahara, names do not matter, only stories matter. This man was a businessman in Tokyo, successful, respected. He had a family, a wife, 2 children. But in 2005, his company went bankrupt. It was not his fault. The market changed. The economy fluctuated. He lost everything. And with everything, he lost his honor. In Japanese culture, a man who fails is not just a man who made a mistake. He is a man who has dishonored his family, his lineage, his name. He could not look his wife in the eyes. He could not look at his children. So, on a winter night, he left home. He said he was going to work, but he did not go to the office. He went to Aokigahara. He drove for hours. He left his car in a parking lot near the forest, and he entered. No one knows exactly what he did there. No one knows how long he walked. No one knows if he suffered. But 2 months later, a hunter found his body. He was hanging from a tree. His remains were already in advanced decomposition. The animals had already begun their work. But still, it was possible to identify him, because in Aokigahara, even the dead leave traces. I saw that trace, not with my eyes, but with my gaze. Now let me tell you about a woman. In 2008, a 34-year-old woman entered Aokigahara. She left a note at home, a note that explained everything, that apologized, that said she could no longer continue. Her family called the police. The police searched for days, weeks, but Aokigahara is large, and one person is very small. After 3 weeks, the search was called off. She was declared dead. But here is the strange part. 6 months later, she appeared. Not in Aokigahara, in Tokyo, at a train station, disoriented, confused, with no memory of where she had been. The doctors examined her. She was malnourished. Her feet were wounded. Her nails were broken. But she was alive. When they asked where she had been, she could not answer. She said she had entered Aokigahara, that she had walked, that she had slept, that she had eaten leaves and drunk water from streams, but she could not remember how much time had passed. She said it seemed like only 1 day, but 6 months had passed. 6 months.
How is it possible that a person spends 6 months in a forest and thinks it was only 1 day? The answer is simple. Aokigahara does not exist in normal time. Or rather,
Time in Aokigahara does not exist. There is only the present, the now, the forest. And when you are in Aokigahara, time loses meaning. I have a theory. This woman did not survive because she was strong. She survived because Aokigahara let her go. The forest tested her, and she failed the test. So the forest returned her, but not the same woman who entered. A different woman. A woman who had seen something she should not have seen. A woman who had touched something she should not have touched. I saw that touch. It left marks. Now let me tell you about a hunter. In 2010, a hunter was looking for wild boar in Aokigahara. He knew the forest well. He had hunted there for years. But that day, something was different. The forest was quiet. There were no birds. There were no insects. There was no normal sound of nature. There was only silence. And in that silence, he heard a voice. A child's voice. She was calling for help. 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 Please. The hunter followed the voice. He walked for hours. The voice got closer and closer, but he could never reach it. Finally, as the sun began to set, he stopped, and he saw. There was a child in front of him. A girl, perhaps 8 or 9 years old. She was alone, barefoot. Her eyes were empty. The hunter asked, "Where are your parents?" The child did not answer. She only pointed behind him. The hunter turned around, and he saw nothing, only trees. When he turned back, the child had disappeared. The hunter ran. He ran through the forest until he found the exit. He ran to his car, and he drove home. When he got home, he called the police. He described the child, her clothes, her face. The police searched records of children who had disappeared in Aokigahara, and they found one. A girl named Yuki disappeared in 1987, 23 years before. 23 years. The hunter had seen a child who had disappeared 23 years before. Now, there are two possible explanations. The first is that the hunter was hallucinating, that stress and fear created an illusion in his mind. The second is that Aokigahara preserves people, that when you disappear in Aokigahara, you do not die. You simply stay, eternally young, eternally trapped, eternally waiting. I have a theory about which one is the truth, but I will not say which one, because the truth about Aokigahara is that there is no truth. There is only what you see, and what you see depends on what Aokigahara wants you to see. Now I will speak about the paranormal, because Aokigahara is not just a place where people die. It is a place where something lives. Paranormal reports in Aokigahara are abundant. Visitors describe voices calling them by name, silhouettes following them between the trees, sensations of invisible hands touching their shoulders. Time loss. You enter the forest thinking 2 hours have passed, but 8 have gone by. Direction loss. You walk in a straight line, yet somehow return to the same place.
apparitions of people who disappeared years ago. But here is the most terrifying part. Many of the paranormal accounts come from people who had no knowledge of Aokigahara, tourists who entered the forest unaware of its history, and yet they still had paranormal experiences. How is it possible for a place to have an energy so strong that it affects even those who know nothing about it? The answer is that Aokigahara is not just a place. It is an entity made of despair, of suffering, of death. When 500 people die in one place, when 500 people spill their blood, their tears, their anguish into the ground, something changes. The place absorbs that energy. The place becomes alive. And Aokigahara is alive. It breathes. It feels. It wants. And what it wants is more. More suffering. More death. More despair. Because that is what it feeds on. I have walked through many dark places, but Aokigahara is different. Aokigahara is not just a dark place. Aokigahara is the darkness, and the darkness is always hungry. Now I will speak about what Aokigahara truly is. It is not just a forest. It is not just a place where people die. Aokigahara is a mirror of human despair. When you enter Aokigahara, you are not entering a forest. You are entering your own mind. You are entering the place where your fears live. And in Aokigahara, your fears are real. Because in Aokigahara, reality is malleable. Reality becomes whatever you believe it to be. If you believe you are lost, you are lost. If you believe you are being followed, you are being followed. If you believe you are dying, you are dying. Aokigahara does not kill people. People kill themselves in Aokigahara, but Aokigahara invites them to do so. Aokigahara whispers, "Come, here you can rest. Here you can finally be at peace." And people listen, because despair is a very strong voice, stronger than the voice of reason, stronger than the voice of love, stronger than the voice of hope. Despair whispers, and people listen. And Aokigahara is made of despair. So Aokigahara is made of whispers. Whispers that call, whispers that tempt, whispers that persuade. I have heard these whispers, not with my ears, but with my understanding. And what they say is simple. Fear reveals who man truly is. In Aokigahara, man is only fear, pure, raw, unfiltered. And that is why Aokigahara is so terrifying. Not because there are ghosts there, but because there is truth there. The truth about what we are when everything is taken from us, when there is no hope, when there is no future, when there is no reason to continue. In that moment, who are we? Aokigahara answers that question, and the answer is nothing. We are nothing, only fear, only despair, only emptiness. And perhaps that is the truth Aokigahara wants us to know. This was the story of Aokigahara, the suicide forest. A forest that is not just a place, but a state of mind. A forest that exists within all of us. Because all of us have moments when despair calls our name. Moments when death seems easier than life. Moments when we want to disappear. Aokigahara is simply the place where those moments become real. But the forest is everywhere. It is in you. It is in me. It is in everyone. And the only way to escape it is to not enter. To not listen to the whispers. To not believe that death is the answer. Because death is not the answer. Death is only the end of the question. And the question is, who am I? Aokigahara answers, you are nothing. But I say, you are more than nothing. You are the one who can choose not to enter the forest. You are the one who can choose to live. You are the one who can choose to fight. You are the one who can choose hope, even when hope feels impossible, even when death seems easier, even when Aokigahara whispers your name. You can choose not to go, because life, even when difficult, is always better than death. Always. I have witnessed many things. But the most beautiful thing I have ever seen was a person choosing to live, choosing to fight, choosing hope, even when everything told them to give up. That is true courage, not the absence of fear, but having fear and choosing to live anyway. So if you are listening to this and you are thinking about Aokigahara, if you are thinking about giving up, I beg you, do not go. Do not enter the forest, because the forest is always hungry, and it wants you. But you are more than food for the forest. You are life. You are light. You are hope. Even if you don't believe that right now, believe it. Because I am here, watching, witnessing, and I have seen you. I have seen your struggle. I have seen your pain. I have seen your despair. But I have also seen your strength, your ability to keep going, your ability to live. So live, please, live. Because the world needs you. Even if you don't believe it, I believe it. I am the observer. And this was not the first time I have seen fear, but it will be the last time I see you give up. Because you will not give up. You will live. You will fight. You will choose hope. Even when Aokigahara whispers your name, you will say no. And you will live forever. Subscribe to the channel for more horror stories that reveal the truth about fear. Because as long as there is fear, there will be something to be observed. I am the observer, and soon I will be watching again.
If you are in crisis, seek help. Brazil, CVV 188. Free call. USA 988. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Other countries. findahelpline.com.